The idea of Revo started when I first came to Florida in 1997, and I loved what the shaft did, what the cue did for the player, and I realized, well, there's technology out there that we have not explored yet. I really wanted to see cues designed for people, for each player, rather than one shaft fits all. We're achieving that this year. We're making the first, or our first, Predator
It just won't be there. It'll go the way of the skis have, tennis rackets, golf clubs. None of those products are made out of wood any longer, but they all were at one time. Just the way it's going to be. If you had a wooden shaft and you had a carbon fiber shaft, and nobody saw either, which one would you pick?
When we play pool, we use every side of the tip all around, so that consistency is very, very important. Straightness is more critical than any other game out there. Then you add accuracy, flexibility, stiffness. When you talk about nodes, pivot point, you need to really understand, you need to master the game. We design every single shaft based on what the player needs to improve his game.
Proudly presented by CueSports International and hosted here in Las Vegas at the Rio All Suites Hotel and Casino. We'd like to thank our other sponsors of the event, Diamond, Kamui, and Omega. And right now, I'd like to introduce our two opponents for the next round. This is a winner's side match, round 2, session 1. First up, hailing from Japan, can we put our hands together for Toru Kuribayashi. And his opponent hailing from Great Britain, Mr. Chris Melling. Gentlemen, have a great match. You may lag for break.
Welcome everyone to the Predator 10-Ball Championship, presented by CueSports International. It's a $100,000 added event to WPA sanctioned World Championship. We are at the Rio All Suites Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas, Nevada. Sponsored by Predator, CueSports International, Diamond Billiard Products, Kamui, and Omega Billiards. This is George Teacha in the booth with Jeremy Jones. Jeremy, we got a heck of a match.
We sure do. Now one of the most entertaining players on the planet to watch. And it's not how he's going to want to start this second round winner's side in the World 10 Ball. But again, Chris Melling just shoots the balls in well. A guy that's not afraid to go for something super tough in a super tough situation.
Sure.
Now our Japanese player,
Toru Kuribayashi from Japan.
I know he's still playing quite a bit. I haven't seen him in some time just because of not getting abroad so much. But a real solid player, like most of the top Japanese, just real efficient. Not going to make any big mistakes usually.
This is a race to 8 alternate break format. The referee will be racking the balls using the template. The 10 ball can be pocketed last for a win. If it's pocketed in a combo, it's just spotted back up as a regular ball. We are using the WPA rules. There is a 3-point rule in effect along with the 3-foul rule. And the 3-point rule, of course, 3 balls must pass the head string or a ball pocketed counts the same. So any combination thereof, and we're good to go.
Interesting shot a second ago on the 4 to draw all the way past the 10 and 8, but he had perfect speed on the cue ball. So it made things just a little easier from the 5 to the 6. And then nice line here to grab this opening rack.
Yeah, he's going to fall on the 7 perfectly, just slide over for the 8, and they get a good angle to go to the 9. Wow. He's just, as you said earlier when you described him, he says very efficient with the cue ball.
Yeah, most of the Japanese, the top Japanese players are pretty astute with the cue ball and very efficient as far as pattern play. Sometimes the type of players you might not feel like are going to make the toughest shots all the time. It used to be just, we're still obviously great shot makers, but just some players you look at, they're going to overpower the table or overpower a match sometimes, and it's not really. Oh my!
Wow, there was a mistake. Wow, big
yeah.
one too.
And if you notice, he caught the 8 a little thick to the hole, and I'm pretty sure he was trying to hit in between the rail and the 9. And man, what a big mistake. And
this is the second round match. Both of these guys have a match under their belt already. Chris defeated Miguel Arcangel from Puerto Rico, and then Toru defeated James Aranas from the Philippines, one of the hottest players on the planet right now. He's playing great, so we know that he earned his way to this match.
Yeah, absolutely. And I spoke with Chris after his first match, and he was really happy the way he played. He said he just made one mistake. So he was eager to get to the second round match, and that's always that good feeling when you play that real solid match. It makes you want to get on with the tournament and play more.
Kind of inspires you, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, sure does. Picks you right up. Much better than going to the loser side, or the one-loss side. Excuse me. I hate calling it the loser side.
Yeah, well, when you got a day to wait, mentally, win or lose, if you play well, that's okay. But of course, a loss is never fun. But if you play well, it's not the worst thing in the world. But if you lose and you play poorly, it could be a long day till that next match.
It's a long day rehashing at the practice table.
Okay, he's a little thin here, so he may have to kill the cue ball, or trying to go 2 rails between the 5-3 back and forth for the 2 is a little funny on a slick table. because if you overhit it, that inside won't take so much, and it really opens up that side pocket. So careful shot here. See how it kind of spun? You see how when you overhit it, it kind of hydraulics a little bit, and it changes the path of the cue ball. So like Neil's in the finals, I think it was, of the 9-ball, that one ball he had in the corner. Kind of lost track of the cue ball. Similar shot. Okay, couldn't run the cue ball here, and I think he's got the 8 and 10, so just play it simply. Just try and put the cue ball by the 5. If you creep behind the 5, that's great. But you're going to always get the snooker with the 8 and the 10.
He laid it in perfectly.
Yeah, and it's a hit that you know your opponent's 98 out of 100 at this level are going to hit, but you just play the percentages.
I'm surprised that he's looking to kick the 2-ball up. He just indicated kind of maybe where he's going.
No, he's going to cross it.
He's going to try to cross it.
Well, yeah, he's going to try like a one-pocket shot.
Two-rail it. And
right.
Try to cut it in. The cue ball should slide up, probably going to the 10.
Yeah, and if you hit underneath enough, you can catch it kind of thick, and it might bank back in the same position now. And the cue ball actually might get by the 10 and go up table. It's the type of kick that you get a nice visual on. That's why these players are surprisingly make it. 30% of the time, maybe.
We've seen quite a few shots like this go right in, and they've been they're on the highlight reels, and we've had some nice highlight reels coming from our media team.
This will be a medium speed, not real hard. And perfect. See how he went by the 10? Very controlled. And it's amazing how well you get a feel for the speed of the cue ball, even though you're 2-rail kicking at an object ball. The top players, they just always seem to get the feeling of what meets the angles with the speed to get that cue ball up table. Difficult shot here. One again, I think he should maybe go as simple as he can, try and creep him up behind the 10 and knock the 2 up, maybe.
He's going to stay right behind the 10, or attempt to anyway. He didn't.
Yeah.
So he might find himself
behind the 9.
Buried. Yeah, there's 3 balls he can hide behind.
Yeah, and that one there was, you want to play a soft safety, but if you let him see the ball with all that congestion, could turn out bad. He could clip the 2 underneath the 4 and 3 and 9 also. Oh, he got a double kiss.
Oops.
Did he get away with it, though? I think he did, as far as containing
looks like
Toru in an offensive shot.
It looks like he can cut it over to the right-hand corner pocket.
Yeah, but it's pretty thin and holding position. So I think he'll probably knock this ball away a couple rails. Try and maybe 2-rail it, hold the cue ball. He's called it 2 rails, just in case. So he'll try and draw this cue ball 1 rail to the middle of the end rail, trying to use the 8 and the 10.
But he's using the 10 all the way, just like he called it.
And a pretty nice shot. May have let Chris have just a piece of this blue too. No, there's a nice camera there, yeah. So you go the jump cue here. This is on the fence just because the kick is sitting kind of nice to maybe get a roll. And it's a pretty guaranteed kick off the end rail, but hard for these guys to pass up on the jump cue, and I don't blame them just because they're so good at it. They got a chance to make it.
And it's just a corner of the ball, too. Just I'm not, well, the corner's round. It's just the side of the ball. It's just very easy jump. Chris is sponsored by Predator. And with that Predator jump cue, he made that look pretty easy. He plays with a beautiful cue there. He's got the Predator black. Lots of intricate designs on it. But got this 3-ball look at, Jeremy. What do we do with this? Cut
it doesn't appear it goes. Excuse me. It goes off the 9. I think it's cuttable. I don't think the 9 plays by the 4. That would be not handy and something available. Is he going to bank this and just try and lay him on the 9?
No.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, it was a funny situation. I'm not sure what he was trying, but.
I think he was trying to make it, and in doing so, he might have bumped into the 4 ball, but he hit it a little thick, and it came right over. He's given up a shot on the 3, but he's got to get perfect for the shot on the 4. To go between the 9 and the 4 ball.
Yeah, he's just going to hold it up and bank the 4 around. I don't think he's going to do too much. And that's kind of funny because that wasn't really necessary, I don't think. And if he gets a little flat here, I think he can bank it around with, oh, did he get just like perfect to cut it?
That's what he was looking at. I think that's exactly what he was doing.
Okay, well, this is still funny because he can't come backwards. That doesn't offer shape. Coming across with the 8 there, he's got to hit the gap here, George, if he's going to go offensive.
You know, it's just speed. As long as he doesn't bump the 8, I think he'll be okay.
Yeah, he's still got to get back across. You probably don't want to play the 5 from too thin, meaning on the right side of the table. So you think just fall below the 8 a little bit and don't try to go back across in between the 8 and 9. Just take the cut shot.
He might try to just bump. Looked like he was going to be bumping the 8 or coming real close to it.
Ooh, easy to pull the 4 off the rail doing that. Man, nice hit though.
Just like that.
Yeah, nice hit.
Wow. Well, he's pretty much solved it. It's just a matter of this shot, because the cue ball will fall on the 8 ball real nice, and then just a matter of getting the 9. Some of the matches we have going on as he completes his clearance is we got Kevin Chang and Josh Roberts, who the winner of this match will play on table.
Okay, this is creeping over to straight.
Oh,
he's all right.
He's good. Then we've got Josh Filler and Joan Chua. Then we got Chang and Martinez Boza from Peru. We got Niels Fayen and Skoworski from Poland. Ocean and Ziuchek from Poland. We got Jason Shaw and Cheng Cheng. And then Rue and Lechner battling out on the 7 other tables.
And those matches have just gotten underway along with this one, so we'll give you some scores as they progress.
For those of you out there that want to watch the live scoring, it is
cue ball's coming towards the 10.
Close, but he's okay. It looks like it's going to be a thin cut, but
so that's just a little bit of nerves because just a little overhit on it.
Yeah, it came right into the 10 ball. Back to the live scoring. It's on ctsondemand.com, and you just look for the live scoring on the left side of your screen there. It's kind of hard to find. But that wasn't hard to make for him. He just went right through that and takes the second game. And they're tied at 1. The alternate break format, of course, Chris will be breaking next. One of the things about this tournament is it's a race to 8 until we get down to the last 16. 8 on the loser's side and 8 on the winner's side will be redrawn, and then they will come back and play a race to 10 in a single elimination. So the ones on the loser's side, on the one-loss side, get to lose a match until they get there. The ones on the winner's sides don't get rewarded for their for their pure efforts. But
well, and less stress.
no less stress.
Well, that's anytime you're sitting on the brink of elimination, even if you're playing well with a. Okay, those second balls missing long again. We've seen that on this TV table.
Usually a sign of hitting it too hard.
Well, I'm trying to figure that out. I kind of said that at first.
Mm-hmm.
We're playing with some new pool balls here, and I'm not sure if that material on them because they seem fantastic to me. By the way,
Yes. Did you hit some balls with them finally?
No, I haven't got to, but just watching, just the way they've reacted, we've seen very few skids. They seem like they roll out nice. Is he going for this here?
Yeah, he's going rail first.
Nice shot. And I like that, knowing he's going to have to accept a long 2 ball, but it does offer some type of position carrying towards the 3. And Chris, we talked about it at the first of the match, a guy that can come with all kinds of shots.
Just research it on YouTube real
Yeah,
quick.
that's
See
right.
what kind of shots he comes up with. He's got an A-ball run out that is just out of this world. Fantastic.
And now, did he get where he can play the carom? It's real close. He'd love to have gotten a couple inches over where he can just kind of flick this 3 and make the 8, but now I think it's kind of touchy.
He's playing the carom.
Yeah, he's got to add spin, too. He's got to add side spin. Oh, nice hit.
Wow, how thin he hit it. Just feathered it.
Yeah, so first 3 shots, kind of tricky.
Looking real good here.
Man.
Way to take his break, stay on break.
Now we have Johan Shua breaking up 3-0 against Joshua Filler. Josh just missed a pretty easy 8-ball. It's weird, though, when I think about Josh. I want to watch him play. It's like he can have a rough match at his standards, but he just doesn't seem like he has 2 of them in a tournament. I'm not saying that, of course, he can get beat playing well by any of these guys.
Well, there's only 13 world champions or world titles in this field of 64 players. And I think I've made mention several times that this is the largest field of world titles or world champions we've had on U.S. soil that I can remember. It's just floating with champions. Well, that was game number 3, which goes to Chris Melling, leading 2-1. Toru ready to break. He's ready to come out of his chair. He says, I sat long enough. Let me back up to the table. It's my turn. Any information you want on this Predator World 10 ball, you can find it at world10ball.com, the players list, the brackets. All of it's, well, the brackets are on CTS on demand. So there's some good information on there. This is the first one, and hopefully there'll be some to follow on a yearly basis. It's being played at the same time as the BCAPL and the USAPL championships. Kissed right into the, how can a ball always get kissed so consistently right into the pocket? Well, it happens so often.
It's amazing, and sometimes it'll be, quite honestly, it's from the guys breaking so well. They repeat the break so well. The balls come out of the rack so consistently. You'll see, amazingly, the same kiss sometimes in a side, or same kiss from the center of the table getting cut back in the corner. Of course, it's bad luck, but like I said, sometimes it's just from how well the guys are breaking, believe it or not. But you could see, again, though, a dry break. It's not like he hit him poorly. So some variety here on the TV table as far as the breaks concerned.
But you're right, it's just so consistent, and those balls are flying in. I would say 80% of the scratches are to the 2 top corner pockets the ball gets kissed into.
Yeah, at least the ones that are what you might call not the player's fault.
There was a match you and I called, I think it was yesterday, where the cue ball stopped in the middle of the table and it got kicked to the lower left-hand corner pocket. And you called the go in there when I thought it was a good break. The ball stopped in the middle, just dead stop, and then was kissed kind of late.
Yeah, well, you like to think, like you said, how's that keep happening? And it's just really, you got to credit it to the. It keeps happening because of the consistency of the guys, how well they do things, and just like making incredible shots. How do they keep doing it? It's just because of how great they are.
Look how effortless he just runs these balls. He looks like he's practicing. He just dances around the table, just floats around the table and just pockets balls so easily. 2 strokes and wham, 1, 2, and delivers. There's a good view of some of the audience that we have. We've got a nice audience for all these matches with the Predator World 10 ball. And we've got a great field.
Well, it's been packed, and it's going to do nothing but grow. The teams have arrived for the amateur side of the event, and that brings in a lot of players and a lot of fans.
Sure does. What a great time to be able to mix with these guys. I mean, I was watching Earl Strickland practice this morning at 9 a.m. He he had 15 to 20 people just sitting there watching their practice.
Yeah, well, he played awfully well yesterday. I was happy to see it.
He'll be coming up at 2:30 versus two Hall of Famers, Earl Strickland and Ralph Souquet at 2:30 right after this match on the live stream table.
Okay, I think Toru can get at this one ball, even if he needs to swerve it maybe a little, maybe not. Now he's taking a second look, and the kick shot's not bad. He's right-handed, so he's stretching for the curve. If he's just got a little bit of a curve, he'd love to shoot it, but man, he's kind of leaning in a funny position to get at it, so he may just take on the kick. You'd want to hit this one with a little draw English. Okay, this is what he's trying to get at the curve, it looks like to me.
We're playing all fouls, so if he touches that 8-ball, and you see Gennaro, well, you don't see him, he's out of the screen, making sure that nothing gets contacted.
Okay, pretty nice shot. Oh, maybe he got in the gap here between the 5 and the 2.
Wow. That's an extremely small gap, but take a look at that with the camera work.
Mm-hmm. He can definitely
Wow.
get through there at the 1. Now it's a matter if he can pocket it or not, which
He's coming through.
regardless if he can pocket it or not, he loves that he can get at it, though. Put the 1 by the 6. That's got to go a little bit with the cue ball.
Got there behind the 10.
Okay, and that was important, even if not to leave the little 1-rail kick as well. With all that congestion, the top players are going to kick you safe, probably 8 out of 10. But making them go 2 rails here probably drops the percentages down to about 50% of containing Chris here.
Well, Yuan Chua is 4 games to 0 over the presiding world 9-ball champion, Josh Filler.
Okay, if he shoots at this, man, what a tough shot, especially elevated. I mean, if he wasn't elevated, he could play the combo or the 1 off the back of the 3. But the thing about the 1 off the back of the 3, it'll bobble on you if you try to put some speed on it. If you just kind of.
Yeah, if he hits the 3 first, it'll bobble.
Yeah, and even if he hits the rail first with speed, it could kind of bounce a little bit and get back into that rail. So you'll want to shoot this a little lighter, but that being elevated, man, makes it hard to want to pull the trigger real light.
These players are on a 40-second time clock, and Chris has just called for an extension. You won't see the clock on the screen, but the referee
looks like he's banking.
called it.
He's going to bank it. I would try to ignore making this. I'd really just try to get that cue ball down to the right side of the 2 and the 5. Okay. He went in and went for the cut.
And
Nothing
well,
wrong with
he's
that.
giving up control.
Yeah.
He's giving up control here, so we'll see what Toru will do with this. Mr. Kuribayashi from Japan. There's 10 American players in this field. I think there's 6 from Japan, 6 or 4.
6, that's a lot.
Yeah, I had that all written down, and somewhere I lost it. I know there were 6 from the Philippines, so there's 4 from Japan. Nice cut, made that look real easy. Just nibbled off the 3 there, and things look pretty good for Toru.
And I like seeing, I mean, I hate to see the guys dry break, but I like seeing them getting through the racks with all 10 balls on the table just to see the position play and the thoughts behind it. Trying to learn something from these guys.
Yeah, some of the finesse shots and how they handle traffic.
Yeah, exactly. They break the ball so well that you don't see it sometimes. Okay, he's going to need a little bit of a roll to get by the 9. I think he's going to get there, but what's the 6 and 10 doing? Because the 7's down table a bit. And the 8 and 9 are in the way, so those balls will still be there once he gets to the 6.
Yeah, you'll have a hard time getting to that 7 ball.
Yeah, but they break so well, the players, that when the table's reacting correctly for them and they're hitting the break well, they're making 2 and 3. And we still see some difficult runouts, but not quite like having to run all 10.
That last shot gave us a good view of these Predator Arcos 2 balls. The cue ball with the triangles on it, the logo instead of a number on one side of the ball with a number on the other, the traditional colors, with the exception of the 7 not being maroon, it's that nice brown.
He's not going into the 6 here or the 10, is he?
Yes, he is.
Well, that's taking a big chance, I'll tell you that.
He could have slid right up, huh?
Well, appeared that the 6 went. We saw a 4 ball that in an earlier rack that he played position on that was much tighter and much more near the side pocket. I know the 7's down there, like we talked about with the 8 and 9, a little covering it up. But if you get thin on the 5, or say he was to get dead jacked up on that 10 there, or straight in on the rail where his run's kind of cut off. Now he's got to shoot a shot that becomes a lot more missable, and you're not sure what's going to happen when you go into these balls.
Yeah, because you have more speed. So it's, oh, he hit it perfect.
Yeah, but now he's going to get jacked up over the 9 with the 10 there. So you just, and that's a bit unfortunate. There's,
well, you know, when you're breaking up balls, you got to be on the right side, or the fortune comes into play.
Well, or that, or you want to go into him where you're knocking him a foot away. But he couldn't afford to shoot the 5 in that manner because he had a thin cut. He needed a little more speed on it to secure the cut. So now, in a bad position. But the thought is, though, and the hard part is how aggressive and how great these guys are. But the thought is, George, it's a race to 8. You can't, not only the score being 3-1, but you can't afford maybes. So,
True.
like right there,
that's right. Yeah.
Shoot the 5, play position on the 4 to the 5. If you get to where you really like the 6, or you like the 5 to the 6, well, you shoot it. If not, you just knock the 6 around 3 rails and plant him behind the 10, because you can't afford games in this race to 8.
Especially when you're trailing, like you just said.
Yeah. He's trying to knock this around, and at least he left some distance.
And the cue ball on the rail.
Yeah, and really have a little bit of a funny angle as far as he may have to dead roll this to hold, or put a lot more speed to try and get to this end rail. So I think he's going to roll it, maybe.
If he's rolling it, that's one of the harder shots.
Yeah,
that's
but
a tough shot.
It's a hard shot to try and put enough speed on this.
That too.
To get to the back rail and back up, because he needs a good 5-6 inches off the back rail to have a shot on the 7.
He's got to come at least that. These tables are playing pretty nice, so he's
Oh
going to
man,
get it.
how well he hit it. Well, if that's any indication, the form and how calm Chris is.
Well, that's just like I said earlier. It looks like he's practicing.
Mm-hmm.
That whole stroke looked like he's just hitting balls.
More our reigning world 9-ball champions can't seem to get on the board over there. Josh Fuller trailing 5-0.
Wow.
Okay, a nice shot there, and I think very well thought out, and of course well done. But he went into the 9-1 rail, and you talk about, oh, you never want to bump balls, but if it lays natural and it's actually the easiest way to do things. It's nothing wrong with that.
Sometimes that bump can get you out of trouble. You can bump off a ball to send you up table when it's really hard to maneuver through it.
Right.
If you play it just right.
Yeah, just like there, he
There's
held it, right?
Yeah. There's another match that I'm watching actually, with Josh Roberts, who qualified on Sunday to play in this event.
Yeah, he's up 3-1.
He's up 3-1.
Yeah, and we talked about it yesterday. You got to be careful with the qualifiers. They're hungry, eager.
Well, I think Josh is one of the players in America that he's under the radar. I think he plays. He's not as well known as a lot of the, like Billy Thorpe and Skylar Woodward, guys that have gotten a lot of notoriety by being on television or on a lot of streams. But Josh plays all games very well, and he's competitive in every match he plays.
Oh yeah. Know Josh real well, and I've talked to him the last couple of years that, these guys got to make money, so sometimes they can't afford to travel all over the world to some of these events. But I try to stress to him that that's the place he needs to be, in my opinion. Not only would he improve that's the way to improve for a guy that level. It's hard for him to improve other places besides playing with the best in the world. Well, that's a little lighter break there and a little better results as far as the second balls in the side.
Got one of them right inside the 4 ball.
I think the 1-6 goes.
That would be nice for him.
Yeah, pretty sure it does.
If not, it'd probably be thrown in, because if it's high, it's laying natural for the throw.
Yeah, if he's got to hit on top of it a little bit, like George said, to throw it downward just to just a skosh to make it. Now he's got to think about how am I going. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's laying perfect.
Well, he's got to think about how am I going to get position. Well, it looks like he's hitting the side of it.
Just drawing away.
Yeah, he's hitting the side of it. That's no good.
He went straight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw.
You had to throw it and hit the top of that ball.
Hit the top of the ball and go ahead, and he could have followed it, and the one ball comes off the back rail.
Yeah, or drew it actually out to the center and let the one come off the back rail. Either way, but he definitely had to hit the top, it appeared to me, to throw the 6 ball in. And so 4-1 here, and this is where I think Chris has got to maybe pull on the reins. I mean, I don't mind him shooting the 1-6, but I don't really see how he's going to hold position that well without taking a big chance.
Extension.
It's called for an extension.
Now, the problem is he'd like to lightly cut the 1 into the 6 and run the cue ball safe, but what if he makes the 6?
How about 2 rail banking the 1 ball down beneath the 10?
6 ball.
And holding the cue ball up there.
That's
The
not
9
bad. He may even elevate and cross it over. He's playing the 6. Great shot.
Easy on the speed.
He's okay. Yeah.
He's okay.
Thing is, he's on the rail, so I don't know if he can roll it and take a thin cut on the 2 or not. He'd love to do that or stop his ball. Don't think he's going to dig to where he draws it.
Oh, he's topping the clock because he wants the cue ball cleaned off.
Yeah, that's okay. I think this extra time will bode well for this shot, and it's a shot that, of course, isn't going to win the match, but, 5-1. It's a big lead.
Sure is.
It's not the biggest we've seen out here at noon. And again, Johan Shua up 5-0. Appears Kevin Chang is ahead of our Peruvian player. Wow, what a great hit. 4-0.
It's funny. One night I was watching Gerson Martinez, the guy playing Kevin Chang. I was watching him practice. Actually, they weren't practicing. They were playing some $50 sets. And he was playing with a very, very well-known player and holding his own in some of his.
Well, Niels Van on the outer table trailing 2-1 to Skowerski. Now, Skowerski, I think, didn't the 2 Polish players draw each other in the first round? Did he beat Fortunski in the first round?
You know, I don't recall.
Well, I know Fortunski had to play another Polish player, but as we've talked about all week, there's many really solid Polish players.
That could be it, because I was going to check that real quick. I don't want to mess up the.
Well, I'll tell you one thing I've liked to see so far about Chris is when he's had to make some decisions on a shot, he's taken a little extra time. Even though he kind of probably went with his initial look anyways, he took a little extra time making that decision and being really refined with the hit. Okay, he's going to end up a little thin on the 10. Should be all right.
Yes, he did. You're correct.
Oh, you're talking about the Polish players?
Yes.
Yeah.
Fortunski lost. No, Fortunski won his first match.
Okay, well then he did play another Polish player. It just might not have been Skowerski.
No, Skowerski. You've got me
Curious?
curious. Yeah, now I'm curious, and I just can't find the match on the bracket.
Kuribayashi needs to get going here at 5-1. Big scratch in the opening game from the 8 to the 9 that we just didn't expect, and neither did he.
Yeah, Skowerski played Roberto Gomez and defeated him 8-3.
Okay. Oh, that's right. They were right here on the corner table yesterday.
No, you're right. Suchek played Misko Fortunski and beat him 8-7.
Oh, so Fortunski
yeah,
lost?
Fortunski lost. He's on the one loss side.
Uh-oh.
He played so solid in the 9-ball.
Well, could have played solid there, too, and
Sure.
just got beat. Like here, I mean, we've seen a couple mistakes like Kuribayashi, but it wasn't like, I mean, that one big one on the scratch the first game, that was really huge, but he's made some nice outs. He looked really solid getting through some racks, just a few little funny things. All right, he's got a pocket on the 2. He's got a pretty open 3 in the middle. He doesn't have a full pocket on the 2, but it'd be hard for me to think he's not going to shoot. It does go between the 6-7. He's got about 75% of the pocket, I'd say. I'm kind of looking down the barrel at it. He's got to draw his ball. He can't afford to go forward. Oh, excuse me. The one's on the side rail. He snookered. Yeah, I was kept looking at that 2 ball like he's trying to figure out position. Okay, so now, yeah.
Long kick is what he's got. Or he can go use the short rail too, but.
Well, he's going to push out. This is after the break, but I think anyways.
He's going to push the 5 ball over and just give himself a little jump shot on the 1 if he so desires.
Maybe, or maybe a swerve kick to the rail and let's send the 1 up table and try and use the 9 and 5 to hold.
Would you give this back? I don't think I would. I think he gave it back.
He looked at the
I like the swerve off the rail.
Yeah, much better than this. Yeah,
sure. And the cue ball should come into the 5-9.
Yeah.
And then there's 4 balls down there on the bottom to defend.
Yeah, he's kind of kicking into more open here.
Yeah, he's looking at something different.
He's long. He's trying to make it. He's long rail kicking, trying to catch that second rail here.
Well, let's see if this is going to make the highlight reels.
Well, the one thing about this kick, of course, you don't want to blast it and lose accuracy, but it's not one you want to baby. You want the one to get up if it misses.
And it also will come with shape. If he goes rail first time, he comes with shape for the 2. But he didn't make it, and Toru will come up and say, thank you. With a little follow, I think he can get on the 2.
Well, he's got to put a little more speed on it because he's got to come off the 9 to get off on the 2. Can't just dribble it, I don't think.
No, it's going to take a little bit of a stroke. Not much, though. Just
maybe
travel at 4 inches.
Yeah. Yeah, but you want to bounce off the 4 a little. Off the 9 a little bit. Excuse me. That way you'll get to the right side of the 3.
Oh, he came straight through the 9 and stayed behind the 9. That's exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, because if you hit it soft, you don't get that deflection off that 9. You needed to hit that with a lot more speed. And a little surprised he didn't recognize that. He's a really, really solid player. And like I said, most of the Japanese pretty knowledgeable about that cue ball. But sometimes in matches, just like that throw shot earlier on the 1-6 combo, of course he knows how to throw the ball. He's a great 9-ball player. But just sometimes you can forget. If your nerves get a little high.
That has a lot to do with it. You forget a lot of things when you get nervous.
Yeah. He's going to need a roll here. And I don't think he got one. I think that he can squeeze the cue ball between the 9-5 and get at that 2. Pretty sure anyways. Just a draw stroke.
Oh yeah, look how nice that camera makes it look for us. Good view of the balls, the reflection off all the lights over this table. Just how well this is set up. If you just joined us, we are at the Rio All Suites Hotel and Casino. This is the Predator World 10-Ball Championship. We have 13 world titles in this 64-man field. This is all presented by CueSports International. This looks like a practice how to run 4 balls by Chris Melling.
Caught that a little thin, so a little thinner on the 7 as well, but not a problem. 1.5 feet away from it, so he'll spin 3 rails for the 9 and the side most likely.
It's nice when it lays like that. That's like one of the nicest shots, just to get to the middle of the table. He went a little far, but he'll just roll down, just barely catch the rail and come off. He's not even going to bother getting to the rail. Just take it from there. As long as you're not on the rail there.
That's right. This is a 6-1.
Rack number 7 in the 6-1 lead.
Yeah, we've got some matches that are getting away from some players.
Oh wow.
Yeah, 4-1 Josh Roberts, 4-1 to Kevin Chang, 6-0 in Johan Chua shooting over Josh Filler.
Jason Shaw leading Cheng Chek 4-0. Maximilian Lechner leading Ru 4-0. Albin Ocean leading Skuz. Want to say that for me? Skuzek?
Yes, that's right.
Skuzek 4-0.
Yeah, and Albin got away with one yesterday and went in hill, and not saying he got lucky. I watched a good portion of the match, and just for like 4 games, it wasn't an Albin Ocean that I really had ever seen. Just missed cue, jumped the ball off the table on the break, missed a couple easy safeties, just, you know. But he's also, you know, he's in form. That guy doesn't stay out of, he doesn't get out of form, it doesn't seem like. So it's just a little off a few games there, but squeaked by, and wouldn't surprise me if he went on to win the tournament.
Well, in this field, that's saying a lot.
Well, he's one of those former world 9-ball champions you were talking about, and a big shot on the one here that really could set up the run out if he could draw the. Now he's looking at following the ball. I would have to draw this, I think, because this, you want to, if you make it, you want to make sure you're getting shape. If you follow the ball, I think you're taking a little chance.
It'll be a real thin hit on the 7. It could float down.
Yeah, well,
depending on the speed.
The angle tells me he might not catch the 7 unless he really rolls it.
I had to chuckle there because he has actually lost one of his patches and came off.
Okay, perfect speed there.
He's perfect.
Well, now he can break the 5-6 as well and have the 3 laid up in the side. Now he just wants to either don't get elevated though. Okay.
That up. Well, that was the only problem that he was facing after this.
After that sweet 1-ball shot.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's going to shoot the 4 in and shoot the 5 from some distance. No reason to flirt here. You might pinch it back a, what, 5-6 inches maybe?
Just a little bit.
Yeah. The thing is, it can get away from you here if you just try to put a little extra. Okay, that's nice. Man, and looking to get to the hill quickly, huh?
Yeah.
And Chang has got his hands full with Josh Roberts, I'll tell you that. And Chang's another guy that can, oh, this has got to go. This has got to go. Now he's going to shoot it, but he's got to put a little inside on this as well. So going back and forth, something like getting over the 9 or something like that could happen. Don't expect to miss. Oh, I got quick. Oh, it went in, though.
Yes, it did. The bed of this table was recovered, so I don't think it had anything to do with it, but that played a little soft.
Yeah, well, pure stroke will open the pocket a little bit. Gives you a little room for error. But Chang, I was getting at, Jungwon Chang is another guy kind of like Filler that he might have a little bit of a rough match, and you call it rough because the standard is so high with those guys. But another one that just doesn't ever seem to have 2 rough matches in the tournament.
Do you feel that reasons for that is their mechanics are so stable, they're just so well lined up that it just helps them through their troubles?
Well, absolutely. That's why you work on them fundamentals so much, because when you're a little unsettled, you got to be able to rely on them. When you're mentally, you feel great, everything just flows on with it. You don't sweat anything, but you rely on them fundamentals. When you have a couple other things go awry, you can really just, maybe your confidence isn't so high or whatever it may be, pressure situation.
Yeah, the fundamentals will carry you through the pressure situation.
Yeah,
your mind is having trouble.
That's why they're practiced so much, and that's why they try to get them to as good a level as possible, so they will hold up under unique situations.
Under the gun.
But those 2 guys do it all too, though. That's another big difference. Is there's not a weakness in their game or anything that really you might say, yeah, that gets them occasionally. When you talk about a Filler, you got Shane Van Boning in that class. You got Albin Ocean, and you got a lot of them in that class that just do it all incredible.
Yeah. Speaking of Shane, he lost a tight match to Billy Thorpe last night, right here on this table. Billy Thorpe played extremely well, and it seemed to me that Shane's break, best in the game, kind of let him down a little bit.
Well, here's a 1-2. I think he needs to put speed on it to get shape. Oh, he held it nice. And I'll tell you, Chris is really good at those. Like, I'd be afraid of that ball going up another inch or two, and I just have nothing from nowhere.
Forced to bank it if you want to keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is nice. He'll just come right up on this.
Perfect. Come to the backside of the 4.
You think he'll come to the backside way over to the
oh,
right? Or
for sure, yeah. Stay away.
Not fall on the rail?
No. Too much traffic. If the 7 wasn't there, maybe. But with the 7 being there, now you got to hit the line perfect, and you got to have the speed perfect.
Beautifully done. Beautifully done. And it didn't take too much maneuvering to get there. Just a hint of right English, and it came right off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he gained a nice angle when he shot the 1 and kind of killed the cue ball up the table for the 3. And
well, this looks like it's going to be pretty quick work for Chris Melling. And
well, can he come back, or does he need to go forward here for the side? Either is fine.
10 ball is the last ball, so he's going to go to the side pocket with it. A lot of players would have played that 8-10 combo to no avail because it would have spotted back up. So it's the better thing here, and he'll go on to meet the winner of Josh Roberts and get a challenge.
And great playing by Chris. And Mr. Kuribayashi just shake it off, a few mistakes, and just Chris got rolling on him.
The one thing about this is if Kuribayashi meets him again in the final 16, the one loss doesn't make any difference.
That's right.
Thanks, folks. This is Jeremy Jones, and this is George Teachan. Jeremy Jones. I'm not Jeremy Jones. Signing off.
The idea of Revo started when I first came to Florida in 1997. And I loved what the shaft did, what the cue did for the player. And I realized, well, there's technology out there that we have not explored yet. I really wanted to see cues designed for people, for each player, rather than one shaft fits all. We're achieving that this year. We're making the first, or our first, Predator custom Revo shaft.
In 20 years from now, you'll be looking for a wooden shaft like a hen's tooth. It just won't be there. It'll go the way of the skis have, tennis rackets, golf clubs. None of those products are made out of wood any longer, but they all were at one time. Just the way it's going to be. If you had a wooden shaft and you had a carbon fiber shaft, and nobody saw either, which one would you pick?
When we play pool, we use every side of the tip all around, so that consistency is very, very important. Straightness is more critical than any other game out there. Then you add accuracy, flexibility, stiffness. When you talk about nodes, pivot point. I mean, you need to really understand, you need to master the game. We design every single shaft based on what the player needs to improve his game.
When I was a child, it only took one shot to change my life. I wanted to be the best. Looking back, my journey started from that moment.
Realizing your true potential requires total devotion. You must be prepared technically, physically, mentally, and make sure they are in balance. Achieving excellence depends on how much and how well you prepare. It all comes down to dedication. Luck will not make you a champion. Steady training contributes to accuracy and consistency. Trust yourself and work hard until you can convince yourself to reach your best. Though the journey for victory is long and difficult, it tells you who you are and what you can do. Victory elevates you to the next level. A will to win influences younger generations, delivering passion to the world. Believe in the potential of your intuition. Give your dreams free rein and feel the emotion flow through you. Stay true to yourself to find stillness within. Sharpen your senses. Put all of your intention into the moment of impact. Do not hold back. Just let go. Can you see? Your journey begins here. Quest for excellence.